Hello guys, and welcome to another ProfileTree Wix YouTube tutorial. So today we're going to be covering how to create a modern front website page for Wix. So in front of us we've got a list of different options, and this is mainly to do with the dealership, as you can see. So there's a couple of really nice templates, as you can see, that are pre-built, and we can try to create something similar, or we can try to create something better. So we're going to go ahead and do so. So I'll see you on a blank template. Okay, so we've got a blank template in front of us, and what I want to do is I want to create the following. So for my header and for my hero section, I would want them both blended in, and I would do so by using either images or I would use a video. And then for my footer, I would want to try to create something of similar, and I want to try to create a dark website. So I'm going to go ahead and start off with the background. So I want my header and my section to be completely blended in, and the way to do that is to go through to site design. I would change the background, instead of color white, to a video background. So we'll go ahead and click on the video. So for the meantime, I'm just going to use a video from Wix, and let's just say something along with the car. So as you can see as well, if you want to pay for it, there are some videos for Shutterstock as well, but it has to be paid for, as you could see. But preferably you would want to upload your own videos, or you would want to just use the ones free from Wix. So I'm just going to search up cars, and I'll just pick one out here. I'll just go ahead and pick out the speedometer. So that'll create a whole background for my site here, as you can see. Or if I want to do it something to do with dealership, something along the lines of the dealership, you'd want to change that to an actual car. So something like this here, the sports car. So that gives a preview of what that looks. So that looks pretty good, as you can see, and that would be blended within the header and the actual hero section itself. So I'd want to go ahead and start building the site itself. So just to clarify, this section will show within the footer section, and it will show with the rest of the other sections that you create. So the way you would want to cover it is you would want to use, what I like to use is the strip. So you've got black strips or white strips, and of course you would want to, I'm going to stick with the theme and use a black strip. So I'll just demonstrate that part of the section. So if we go ahead and add section there, I'm going to create a blank section. And then what I want to do here is I want to add a element, which is a strip element. And I'm just going to insert the black one in. And then I'll just make sure that that is fully stretched. So if I go to Tools, Toolbar, I'm at 500. And this is set to 400. I'm going to just increase that so that it's 500. There we go. So now that I've got my section all split up from the area here, I want to do the same actually just for my footer, and I want to make sure that that is a black background. Let's see, move that, copy and paste this in, add elements of a black strip, and then I'll just make sure to cover that up and change the strip background for black. Okay, so that's the entire video covered up. So if we just preview the site and just have a look, so that's all covered there, as you can see. And when you're scrolling down, I'm gonna actually set this so that the site design, let's see, so I can overlay a color. Okay, I'm happy enough with that. So just preview it, just have a look. Might have to refresh this. We'll save the work first, and I'm gonna reload that. So now we're going to focus on the header and the section, as I said there. So we'll add some elements in, and I want to try to make this as modern as possible. So I'm going to use some lines, and I'll just expand them out. Let's just stretch it out to full width, but within the 80px. Okay, and then I'm going to change the design color of this so that it is color white. Okay, so that looks thick enough in there. And I want to actually expand the header itself. So we'll go to the toolbar, bring it to 150. Okay. And I'm going to add my logo on the bottom left. So what I do want to do actually before I start working away at this, I'm going to go ahead and add a strip onto here. So we will add a strip and have that listed as 120. And we'll just double click on this so that it's reduced, and change that strip background so that it is opaque. Okay, and now then that's when we're going to add our decorative line. So we'll pick this out, full width that to 80, like so, and then have this with a color of white. Reduce this down to 3. Okay, and then I'm going to add a logo in. So I'm just going to do a random logo just for the meantime. You can create logos onto the Wix logo maker if you wanted to. I did actually forget one thing there, which is to add another column. And then what I want to do here is I want to manage the column layout so that it's centered more to the left. And I want to change my proportion sizes so that it's like this, reverse that layout. Oh, actually that was okay. So that's like that. And now I'm going to add my decorative. Sorry guys, so we'll just add the decorative piece in. I'll just skip forward and I'll just get back to where I was. So we've got the layout sorted here. Okay, and what I'm going to do is change the shape of this. And as I said earlier on, you can change the logo using the Wix logo maker, or you can use Photoshop if you want. We'll go ahead and search for some shapes. Have maybe something to do with vector art. So a couple of options there, as you can see. So I'm just going to go ahead and choose one, and I'll create the logo. Okay, so I've gone ahead and created the rest of the area here, and I've also added the pages. So what I'm going to want to do now is I'm going to go ahead and add the actual menu item. So the way we do this is we click onto the add elements, and we're going to look for the menu and anchor. So once you've located the menu and anchor, we want to go ahead and go for the themed menus instead. So we'll just click on one. So it should all show up. Okay. And what I want to do is I'm going to expand it out like so. And I'm going to go ahead and edit this. What I do want to do is I'm going to hide the actual home, as I've got a logo for our home page. So to link that up, you just click on the link button, and of course there's an underline, so we're able to remove that. And just click on link, choose a page, pages for home, and click OK. So now what we need to do for this part is we need to go ahead and change and customize the design. So looks like the themed menu doesn't have it. I'm just going to go back and have a look here. Horizontal menu, and I'll just click on this one. Okay, so I had a slight issue there with the menu, so I'm just gonna add that back in. So once you've stretched it all out and you're happy enough, of course we want to go ahead and change it so that we can see the actual text itself. So we'll go to the design, customize design, and what we would want to do is instead of the menu container, we want to go ahead and change that to menu items, and then from here we'll be able to change the actual font and the color itself. So I'll be able to change the text color to white and to the font to be to D, so it's the same as this. So once I'm all happy with that, within hover as well, I can change the text color. Of course, I want to try to keep it in theme and with the current page as well. So just like so, and then once you're happy enough, just realign them to your liking. Okay. So now that we have finished the actual area here, what you would want to do is we're now going to move on to the hero section itself. And just like with all pages, you would have mainly just like an introduction to the page here. So I would want to welcome the actual visitor to the site. So from here you could like provide a slideshow if you wish. So if I go ahead and go to the toolbar and just expand this out so that's 600, I can provide a slideshow for this. So in order to do that, we'll go to the site design, or to the add app, sorry. And you would want to add a Wix gallery. And this is where you could showcase some of the items here. Or what we could do is within the slideshow, we could just go to the add elements, and we should be able to, if it's interactive, it is, and you can add a slideshow in, like so. And from there, you're able to just flick through the stuffs that you want, content-wise for your actual website. But for this one, what I'm going to do is I'm actually just going to delete both of these, and I'm just going to have some content rating, welcome to NI Car Parts, along with maybe a couple of buttons to go to the different areas of the page. So I'll get right back to you. Okay, so I have got a layout here, as you can see. So I'll just move this about. Let's see if I can try to change the layout a little bit out here. And then we'll stretch it so that it's the screen, yep. And then I'll just have it at 80px. So you could have something like this. So that's just a quick little example. I'll make sure to also ungroup the items here. There we are. Just bring that up as well. So that's what you could have for a hero section. So if we just quickly preview this and just have a look, just make sure nothing's all over the place. So you can have something like this. And of course we have an issue here where this is following us. So the way to fix that quickly is to just go ahead and go to the scroller settings, scrolls with the site, as you can see. And then so once you preview that, it's not going to follow you. What we can do as well is we can move all this to the left so it's not too out of the way. So we'll just run this at 0, so full margin, and then I want to run the layout so that it is to the left, but I'm just going to adjust these so that it's aligned with the rest of the site. So we'll have this like this, and then the only issue I have now is with this. So I'm just going to go ahead and highlight everything. So the way I'm doing this as well is I am using the Shift key, holding it while I'm clicking, and I'm going to group these elements, and I'm just going to use this and move them. See if I can get a grip of this. Okay, so hopefully you get the right idea of that. So I've got that moved. And now what we want to do is, because this button is not proportioned to the rest of the site, I'm going to go ahead and re-change that. So I'm going to change the layout of this back so that it is more of a square, like so. Okay, and then I'm going to customize that button as well so that the fill color is more of that color. And then for my radius as well, I'm going to just edge it out a little bit so it's not too boxy looking. I didn't want to use a curve look as it's not really something that'll match. So something like that along those lines. And then what we could do is we could add a border of color as well. So let's see, border, and then have that as color white. So now we'll be able to see that a little bit better. Yep. So there you go. That sort of matches the site a little bit. So if we go ahead and preview that, so we've got our header here, as you could see, along with like a promotional per se, and we've got a shop now. So of course you could see there with the hover, it's a little bit funny. So the way we could change that is go to the hover, and instead of it being changing color like that, we would just keep it. Maybe we would just slightly change it so that it would turn blue, like this. And then for the shop now, the text will remain color white. So now if we preview this and just have a look, there you go. So it doesn't really change. Now I'm happy with that. I'm going to go ahead and move on to another section for the site, and this is what I would like to call like a category section. So I'm going to go ahead and use the toolbar. This is a very, very useful bit of equipment to use. So I'm just going to have that listed as 650. Okay. And then within this, I'm going to go ahead and add the pro galleries. Let's see. We'll click on that, and I'm going to go ahead and go for the grid. Okay. So as you can see, this section here, what I want to do is add like a category section. So shop categories, something along those lines. So I'm going to go ahead and clean this up a little bit. The way you could do this is just by going to manage media, and I want to go ahead and reduce it down to 4. So I'll be with you in a minute. So now that I've reduced it down to 4, I would want to make sure that I change these images to more of a car related item. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. All you need to do is replace image, and you can choose from either the Wix, Shutterstock, or Unsplash, and these are paid for, by the way. This is free, but of course you can add your own images. And if I just search up cars, I'll just go and look for maybe something to do with cars, bulbs. Let's see, car, bulb. Okay, so once I get all these into place, I'll show you what it will look like. Okay, so all of these are now ready to go. So now I'm going to go ahead and change the titles, and so you'll see in a minute. So once I've changed these titles, so this would be interior, brakes, and I'll actually just have this one instead of that one performance. I'll have that as bulbs. Okay, so now that I've got all that laid out, as you can see that this is my gallery at the minute, I would want to run this stretch, so I'll run that full width completely. And as you can see, it's already changing. I'll bring that down to 80px. And now this is where the magic will happen for this. So for this particular area now, what we want to do is we want to go ahead and click on the settings. we'll go to the layout, which is our grid, as you can see. Now we want to customize that layout. So we have it vertical, of course, with a crop, thumbnail, resize, and we want to make sure it's a 3:4 ratio, so that'll change it up a little bit. And instead of having 3 items per row, we want to change that to 4 items per row. And of course, with my spacing, it's a little bit too tight, so I'm going to change that so it's 40px or 40. So now that that's changed, we're happy enough with the image display. We'll go back and go to the settings and see that heart icon there. As you can see, that's you're able to see that. So I'm going to go ahead and change that up a little bit. So we want to make sure that that's not on there. So I'll go ahead and go to settings, and we'll just design this so that it looks a lot nicer. So designs, overlay, of course we want that overlay, and we want it to expand, and then I'm happy enough with that. For our text, we would want a title, of course, and that'll be underneath. So as you can see, that's the reason why I wanted a title, and I would want it to be in color white, and the horizontal element at the left side. Yes, I'm happy enough with that. Now with the item style, of course, we want it to zoom in, so that's the effect that we're going to have, and we want to pick it so there's a darker color. Okay, happy enough with that. So that about does it for that. Now what we need to do, of course, is we would want to link it to an actual page. So the way we would do that is link them up to the ones above. So I'll go ahead and do that now. So as we have a category for bulbs, we would want to add a link for bulbs. So back onto the manage media area, as you can see, guys. And then from our page, we would want to change the page to bulbs. So that'll now be automatically clicking on bulbs. So if we go ahead and preview that, just have a look. And if we click on it, so as you can see, it is giving us another page that says this. So the way we can get rid of that is if we go back to the editor and click on bulbs and go to settings, drag this out a little bit. Instead of when clicking on an item, it'll go to expand mode, we want to do a link opens instead. So when we go preview and we click on that, so that'll just go straight to the area here. Okay, so I'm happy enough with that. Okay, so we'll go back, and now that that's all done, so I'm happy enough with how my category section looks. I'm going to go ahead and move on to another part. And this is pretty much just building the rest of the website now. So I'll go ahead and continue on, and we'll work with the footer. Okay, so now that we've finished the rest of the site, so we've got our front area now. So we've got our brand names, our top trending. So that's all our parts, our sponsors, customers. So that this is like a testimonial area as well. Now we need to focus more onto the footer. So how are we going to create the footer? So we'll go back to the editor here, and we'll go ahead and start modifying it. So of course we got a nice blank section. I'll change the footer design as well so that it is completely blank. So change footer design, and I want to make sure that it is with color, full opacity of this color. Okay, so perfect. Now I'll just go preview it just to double check how it's going to look. Okay. So go back to editor here. And now I'll just double tap that just so it's closer. Now I want to add a area here. So I've got a strip already. So I'm just going to go ahead and add my layout. I want to have at least 4 strips or 4 columns. So I'll manage my columns, do my layout again. Let's see, manage columns, add another column, add another column. Okay, so that should be enough. Now what I would want to do is, for this one I would like to have the logo. So I'm going to change that column background so that it is color white. And then, let's see, maybe change that color so that it is, let's see, color black instead. And I'm going to go ahead and copy and paste these in. So I've got another ID instead. Let's see, so our strip is there. And I'll just drag these over here. Perfect. And same with this one. Okay, like so. And I would want to add a white vertical strip. So go to the decorative section and go for the vertical line, and I'm going to choose this one. Okay. Just lean that up against here. And I'll just drag that down. And I'm going to change this color to color white, of course. So we'll change the design. Customize that design. Should give us an option here for a color. Here we are, color white. And I'll just go ahead and quickly preview this just to make sure. Yep, so I'm happy enough with how that's looking. So now I need to create the rest of the parts here, which we would want to have some social media. And we would want to have a location or navigation as well. So we'll go ahead and do so. So I'll just finish this footer up. Okay, so I have gone ahead and did the footer. As you can see, these are all functional. That's a functional navigation. Of course, we got the social, we got the maps, and we've got our location here as well. And that would be the rest of the site. So that's pretty much easy enough with how you would want to create your footer. It's dependent on you and how you want to change it up or on how you want to design it. Of course, we are just trying to create a modern front website page for Wix, so trying to get that sort of feel for it. So design the footer how you would design it. I've just made it very simplistic for mine. But yes, that sort of concludes the tutorial. So that's just how you would create something fairly modern with the use of video. Of course, you can choose image or a still or solid color, sorry. So if you guys have any questions at all regarding the tutorial, leave them down in the comment section below. And yes, I'll see you for the next one. Thank you very much.